Hello, my name is Sarah. Welcome to the It is a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, April 14, 2025, and in this episode I want to share my handwerk perikelen, that's a Dutch word for crafty adventures, from this week with you. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, I love to sew a little bit. And I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I make my episodes in Dutch and in English, so be sure you pick the right one. Okay, I have a lot to share today. I am really in a finishing phase, so I have quite some finished objects. I prefer working on many projects at the same time. I love to have all the things on my needles. And since the beginning of 2025, I try to find some balance in what kind of projects I have on my needles, because since I was a knitter and a crocheter, I always have many things on my needles, but most of the time I have one project that asks for my attention, that asks for some focus and a lot of easy things. And I wanted to spend more time on things that needs my focus, so I made a list of all the things I need in my crafty life, some challenges, some learning new stuff, some color work, some crochet, some easy peasy thing, all the different categories. And I am working on all the things, but I'm also a good finisher because I really am a little bit addicted to the feeling of finishing a project. It's a HeartJumping feeling. Oh, you have something finished. It feels so as if your life is in balance. My life is in balance, but I feel it even more when I finish a project. So that really gives me a HeartJumping feeling, and it's a bit of a dopamine shot. Do you say dopamine in English? In Dutch we say dopamine. So I really love that. And because we are switching from winter to spring, it is already happened, so it is obviously spring. It is quite warm. It's too warm for what I'm wearing. We have quite some very good spring weather in the Netherlands, although what is very good spring weather is a little bit of your personal preferences, but it's warm and sunny, and yeah, we deep dived into spring just in 1 second. Normally we have a few rainy, grey weeks with a little bit of sun every now and then, so we can get used to the idea of spring quite softly, quite slowly, but now it's bam, it was spring. And that's a good thing, but I need some time in my creative life to make the switch from winter to spring/summer, and I didn't feel any motivation for spring and summer knitting and crocheting. I do love knitting and crocheting for spring and summer, but I have quite some items in my wardrobe, and it was not in my head, it was not keeping me busy. But since I visited the knitting event last week, it catched in. You say, I don't know if you say it like that. It feels like, if you can say it like that, it kicked in. I think that's the way you say it. I saw all the lovely people in very inspiring outfits, and I bought some yarns, and I discovered some new patterns, and now I'm really looking forward to some spring and summer knitting right now. But I also felt the need for finishing some projects before I will deep dive in spring knitting. I will celebrate a cast-on party, a spring cast-on party. I am very inspired by one of my knitting friends. Her name is Marleen. She's from Sunny Sea Knit. She also makes podcasts in English. She inspired me to just cast on all the things that are in your head, out of your head, on your needles. Because I have quite some projects which are in my mind for years. This was one of them. And since the beginning of 2025, I try to put them on my needles as quick as possible. And that worked pretty good, but now I'm a bit behind. But I really want to finish some projects, so I am doing that right now. So I want to show you some finished objects, and I finally started knitting, rabbit knitting. I finally started knitting on my rabbits again. It's the perfect week, I guess, and I will share my progress a little bit, because it was not a nice and easy progress. I had some interruptions, but I will come back to that part later. First, I want to show my finished object, which is really a heart jumping one. I already shared it before in the podcast, but it's now officially finished, and this is the first day I am wearing it, although it's way too warm. I was going out for a walk this morning, and after 10 minutes I put it out because it was just too warm, and I will put it out when I am finished talking about it, because it's warm right now too. But this is my Haust cardigan. It's a pattern by Skeindeer knits, and it's a pattern from a few years ago, because it's in my library. The yarn, I bought the yarn 4 or 5 years ago, and I bought it especially for this pattern. So I don't know the release date, but I'm certain it's more than 4 years ago. Yeah, I am so happy with this cardigan, because there are several reasons for it. Let me start with the yarn, because I love this yarn. It's not my first time knitting with it. I knitted it in Rauma Finul, and that was also the recommended yarn. Rauma Finul is a yarn from Norway, and a Norwegian yarn, and it's 100% Norwegian wool. It's a bit, I think it's a bit in between fingering and sport weight. It's not a fingering yarn, it's too heavy for that, but it's also not really sport weight. It's a bit in between, I guess. That's how I am seeing it. And I have picked quite out of my comfort zone color, pink. I rarely wear pink, but it's a heathered pink. It's Rauma has a heathered line of colors. They have a lot of solid colors and also a heathered line, and I love heathered colors. And the heathered colors are great on are dyed on a great base, and that makes that the gray is coming through the pink, and I really love it, because it's not very sweet pink. It's a bit grayish pink, and it gives it a little bit of I don't know the word in English. In Dutch we say stoer. Yeah, it's all about the balance. It's not too sweet. There's nothing wrong with soft, sweet pink, but yeah, I don't know. I feel comfortable in grayish pink, I guess. So I'm really happy with the color. It's color number 4138. And the yarn is also very lovely to knit with. And I did knit with it before, a colorwork festive yoke sweater, and that was totally different because it was all over colorwork and quite thick fabric. This is knitted on quite a loose gauge, and it makes it such a lightweight cardigan, perfect for spring. It made me laugh when some of you told me. I didn't know what Haust means. It's called Haust cardigan, and Haust is the Norwegian word for autumn. So I thought this is the perfect cardigan for spring, and now it's called autumn cardigan. So I think it's perfect for autumn too, but it's definitely perfect for spring because it's a very thin woolly layer, but it's really warm. I really love the warmth of the rustic yarns. It gives you, the warm woolly layer, it feels more special to me when it's in rustic yarn, in non-superwash yarn, than when it's in superwash yarn. And it always gives me the feeling of a little layer of warm self-love. And it sounds quite dramatic, but I mean it. It's a warm woolly layer of self-love in pink. And it always gives me that heart-jumping feeling that if you give yourself a hug with something you knitted for yourself. So that's really, really special. So if you need some self-love, go knit yourself. No, not go. Knit yourself a warm woolly layer in lovely non-superwash yarn. So lovely color and lovely project. I did cast on the ribbing, and then it was on my needles for quite a while. And it was actually, I don't know, if I cast on a new project, I deep dive into it. And I quite often forget that before the fun part begins, there's always a little bit of a boring part. Not in every pattern, but in a lot of patterns, because you have to knit the ribbing first. And now, because I was casting on all the things, I just knitted the ribbing and then I put it away because I needed some attention for the lace part. And it was just waiting to the moment I was ready for the lace part. And it felt really good when I wanted to knit some lace that I didn't have to knit the border before that, because that takes some time and I don't calculate that time. So that was really nice. The lace is very lovely. It are leaves, autumn leaves obviously. It's not a hard lace pattern, but it comes with a chart, and yeah, it's really, I love knitting lace. It's very special that with knitting stitches together and yarn overs you can create such a lovely pattern. You knit this whole cardigan in the round because it's all about the sticks, and I shared more about that in the previous episodes. But there's a stick for the button band, and that was not new for me. I did several sticks, yeah, and I'm not afraid of sticking. I'm not afraid of cutting into my knitting because it never went wrong. And this pattern also had sticks for the armholes and the neckline, and that was actually the reason why it catches my eye a few years ago, because I love lower necklines. Higher necklines are not really my thing, and I was really curious how to create such a neckline with sticks. But the interesting thing was, although I knew that sticking is not scary, in my head sticking for the armholes and the neckline turned into something difficult, and I knew that would probably not be as difficult as I was thinking, but still I was thinking it, and that was one of the reasons why it was not happening on my needles. And now I have done it, and it's not hard at all, certainly not. It's quite fun actually. I have my doubts about the sticks, because as you can see right here, you can see this extra fabric quite obviously because it's knitted on quite a loose gauge. The sticks are folded to the inside the fabric, and you can see that line, and yeah, a little bit at the neckline. And I especially had a hard time with the sticks for the button band, but this was my first time reinforcing my stick stitches with a crochet reinforcement with some crochet stitches, and I showed it before. I did sew down those sticks different. This one I folded to the button band and sewed it down, and this one I was afraid that the fabric would interrupt the buttonholes, so I folded back, but not completely. I rolled it a little bit so it looks like a messy I-cord bind off, because I didn't want the stick fabric visible behind the lace, the holes of the lace. So I was struggling with that, and I don't like the look of it because it's not very neat. And normally I reinforce my sticks with the sewing machine, and if I would knit this cardigan again, which I probably will, maybe with a different lace pattern, I think I would reinforce with my sewing machine and add a little stick sandwich, so a little layer. Oh, no, I don't have it with me, I guess. No, I don't have one. I can't show you because it's in my winter wardrobe. And also, you could have knit back and forth quite easy to avoid this extra fabric. The fun was that you could stay knit in the round, keep knitting in the round after splitting for the armholes, and that can be a good thing because quite often people, and I think I have that a little bit myself too, you have some rowing out, because when you are knitting in the round, you are knit all the stitches, and when you start knitting back and forth for the upper parts, you are knitting one row and then purling the other row, and purl stitches are quite often a little bit looser, so you don't have that problem. But instead of that, you have the problem of the steek fabric. So you always have a problem. But I can choose now which problem I want to have. Also, the set-in sleeve was new to me, and I was not sure if it was the good fit for my shoulders. Yeah, I think it is. I think I can have it. I am doubting if I have a dropped shoulder, shoulders, because I have a problem with fitting in round yokes. And I think this works pretty good too. I didn't pick up the stitches quite neat. I can do that better, and I think I was a bit confused by the purl stitches, because when you use steeks, you add some steek stitches in which you can cut, and those steek stitches were purl 1, knit 3, purl 1, and those purl 1 on the sides, they confused me. I really love picking up stitches along knit stitch columns. They are my guides in the picking up, and in all those steek stitches there were no knit stitch columns, so that was quite challenging to me. So I think I would prefer to add 5 knit stitches instead of 2 purl stitches and 3 knit stitches. So yeah, maybe next time. I definitely think there will be a next time, because the same as I did with the Kalides vest, it gives me the opportunity to play. This under part, the body part, is just straight, so you can do all the things. And then the upper part, maybe I will try to knit it back and forth once, because I really love the fit. I love the neckline, and I think I love the sleeves too. There is some space, and yeah, sometimes after wearing it for a while, things can happen. So I have no idea how it will be. The sleeves are quite fitted, and I really love fitted sleeves. I don't like it when I have too much space in the sleeves. I made them shorter than I normally do. I always wear a lot of bracelets, so normally I want to make my sleeves until here, but because this is a cardigan for spring, for warmer weather, I want them shorter, and this way I can fold them back. And yeah, you can see all my bracelets. Or it's not that you can see them, but it's not, although I love that too, but it's just not nice when they are under my ribbing. So I'm happy with the sleeve length. And yesterday, oh, the buttons. I need to tell you a little bit about the buttons, because yesterday I was sewing on the buttons and I realized I'm just a bad button sewer. Sewing buttons on your handmade garments, it's such a challenge for me. It looks pretty easy, but I can't get them straight. Although I measure all the things and I use stitch markers and I pin them down, every time I knitted the I sewn on the buttons, and I'm looking and I see they are wonky or they are not divided well. There's always something wrong. So yesterday I thought, maybe I just have to accept that as an imperfect touch. On my handmade items. I pretend to be an imperfect perfectionist, so then that's what it is, and you don't have to be bothered by that it's not working out the way you want it to be. So maybe wonky buttons are also a little bit of Sarah sauce. I love that idea, because I can get quite annoyed by not being able to do it as neat as I want to, but just accepting that it is what it is. Maybe that's better for me. It's not that I completely messed up. They are okay, yeah, but still. I did found quite some lovely buttons. They are from plastic, and I bought them in the knitting shop. It was quite a challenge to find good looking buttons in the right color, because it's quite a hard color. To find matching buttons, and I thought, okay, if I can't find the perfect color, I will add wooden buttons, because I love wooden buttons, but I prefer the buttons with as less contrast as possible, and when I would have wooden buttons there would be contrast. And I couldn't really find them, but then the lady of the yarn shop helped me and she found those. And I really love them. I did put them the other way around, so the upside is downside, because I love this side more. There was a little bit, I don't know if it were letters or maybe just a pattern into the buttons. I didn't like that, so I turned them around. I do that quite often, just looking which side I love the most, and then yeah. Yeah. And when I added the buttons, I thought yesterday, let's try it on. And I was wearing this dress. This is my handmade Hinterland dress. I showed it before a few weeks ago. And it was actually not a combination I had in mind. I don't know how you are doing that, but when I am knitting a garment, I am thinking, on which skirt or dress would I wear this and how would it look? And I didn't think about this because actually I thought the pattern, the checked pattern, the gingham pattern would shine through the fabric. But I was wearing this yesterday and then I put it on and I thought, ooh, this is a lovely match. I really love it. So I am wearing it today again, and I really love the combination of the pink with the checked fabric, and yeah, it's really a good match. So I am happy with that unexpected new outfit. And I can wear this cardigan as well open fronted as clothes, and yeah, I just love it. I love the woolly layer. Oh, I forgot to tell, I guess the Rauma is not as rustic as Ndlovu, for example, because that gets quite itchy on me when I'm warm. I am warm right now, but it's not itchy. And after blocking the garment, it really softened up. So it's really nice and warm, and this yarn is available in so many lovely colors. So I definitely am thinking about another one. I only used 200 gram, 206 to be precise, and that was including the buttons. So I can imagine my buttons, they did weigh 6 grams together. So 4 yarn balls, 50 gram yarn balls. It's really a lightweight cardigan. And I used 721 meter, and the pattern suggested 768 meter. So that's quite okay. I am not a swatcher, and that was quite a thing to accept. I absolutely understand the need of swatching, but I struggled with swatching. Every time I tried to swatch, I couldn't get gauge, and yeah, I tried and then when I did get gauge and I started knitting the garment, not this one, but last year, then my gauge didn't make sense, because even when I was knitting in the round a swatch or knitting back and forth, it's always different than when I'm knitting a big garment. So I decided I'm not a swatcher. I won't swatch anymore, because my swatches are not telling me anything. And I can imagine that with making swatches, you can avoid a lot of problems, and you can avoid mismatches, you can avoid not fitting garments, because when your gauge is off, yeah, your garment can be completely different. And I know the risk of not swatching, but still, I lost my pleasure in starting new projects with swatching. So I'm not a swatcher. Every time I start a new project, I ask myself, are you okay with a mismatch? When it's not working out, you have to start over again. Is that okay for you? And when my answer is yes, I just go for it without swatching, knitting on the edge. And also, what I'm doing now is, in my knitting book, I am measuring my gauge afterwards. So I know I have a little bit of a reference for new projects. And when I want to knit another garment in Rauma, I know what my gauge is in that yarn with specific needles. So my gauge was 18 stitches, 28 rows. In after blocking, and the gauge of the pattern was 20 stitches, 30 rows. So my gauge was off, and my measurements were off. And my garment is a little bit bigger than it should be for size 2, but it's fitting perfect. So apparently I can knit a good looking garment without swatching, and it just turns out the way I want it to be. So I wouldn't advise knitting without swatching. Low battery. But if swatching is not giving you the heart jumping feeling, you don't have to have the heart jumping feeling all the time. But if swatching is really demotivating you, you can do it without a swatch. But you have to ask yourself the question before you start, am I okay when it doesn't turn out the way I want it to be? And I do quick fits in between every now and then. So I just start to knit and then I check how the pattern looks, and yeah, quite often it works out. Okay, yeah, that was all about the Haust cardigan. I really love it. I really want to make more. I don't have plans to cast on one at my cast on party, but you never know. I will think about it, and I will put it out right now because I feel quite overheated. Another finished object. This is my second pair of family socks. I am knitting family socks together with my mom. We are knitting socks for the whole family, and the plan is to give everybody a pair of socks when we are celebrating Christmas together at the end of the year. Our family has 14 members, so we need to knit 14 pairs of socks, and we divided them in 7 pairs for me and 7 pairs for my mom. So that's quite some knitting, but I love knitting scrappy socks. It's so much fun. I knit stripes of 5 rounds in all the scrappy sock yarns, and we pick a color for toes, heels and cuffs for every family member. I try to avoid the color switch to be too obvious, but as you can see, it's still visible. What I do is after a color change, I slip the first stitch of the second round in new color to avoid the little, how do you say it in English? In Dutch we say trappetje, the little stair of the new color, because when you are knitting it around, the stitches are not kissing each other, but they are above each other, and when you slip one of the stitches, you pull the stripe a little bit up, but not enough to make it invisible. But I don't really mind this being visible this way on a sock, so it's okay for me. I am a toe up knitter. I do love knitting cuff down too, but I prefer toe up, especially the cast on. It's quite easy and I love doing that. I have shadow wrap short row heels. Yeah, extra stretchy bind off, nothing special. I really love those sock blockers. They are from a Dutch maker. Her name is Chiara. She sells them on Etsy. I will link it down below. This is a pair which is gifted to me by her very kindly. And what I love on these sock blockers, they are made with a 3D printer. And they are, you can separate this. And every now and then it goes loose. But they are very light and they are open in the middle, and I love that because your socks are drying very quick on those sock blockers. And I also have beautiful wooden one, and I am just happy to have them all. But a pair of family socks. Knitting socks for other people is quite a love language, and yeah, knitting socks for all the family together with my mom, it sounds as a love story. I had a heart jumping sock moment this weekend when my husband came home from a hiking week. He was hiking in France together with our son, and he came back home wearing short trousers, sneakers and hand knitted socks by me. And my husband, he is not really, he loves his hand knitted socks, but he doesn't wear them quite often, only at home when he has cold feet. But most of the time he wears hiking socks in his shoes, and I think hiking socks, they are not ugly, but they are also not very attractive. And I think a man in short trousers with sneakers and hand knitted socks is really attractive to me. And I know that because a few years ago I met another knitter on a camping place, and her husband was wearing that, and I thought, oh, I love that. And I told my husband over and over again, but he was not jealous, he didn't do it. And now he came home, he said, I am wearing your socks all the time, it is feeling so nice. And I told him, are you finally getting it? And he said, oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. And I loved it too. So I can give all my love to my husband through knitting him socks. So I definitely want to cast on a new pair for him. He has several pairs, so he doesn't need socks, but I really want to support his hand knitted socks wearing because I think he's looking good in it. So yeah, that was a heart jumping moment. Hand knitted socks. I have a lot of socks knitted for people around me, and I have a lot of lovely people who are really appreciating wearing their hand knitted socks, and I see it all the time, and that's really heart jumping. It's a love language to knit socks for other people, but when they wear your socks, it's also a little bit of a long language back to you. So I really love that. So I can't wait to finish, to cast on a third pair, but I have three pair of socks on my needles already. So I want to finish a few before I cast on new ones. I have one other finished object, but I won't deep dive into this one today because it deserves a special episode. So it will come, I don't think next week, but the week after that. Within 2 weeks I want to make a little bit of a blanket episode, because this is my recent finished blanket. Oh, I love it so much. I did finish the I-cord bind off last Saturday, and it's even blocked and dry. It's quite warm here, and it's a fingering weight blanket, so I was surprised that it was dry this morning. So I can't wait to show you it for only just a few seconds so you can enjoy it, and I will share all the information of this blanket within 2 episodes, and also my new blanket plans, but also the modifications I did. This is the past, present, future blanket. It's a pattern from Mirjam Molenbeek, and I had so much fun working on this one, and I'm so happy with the end result. Finishing a blanket is always a special moment, because although this isn't even a big blanket, blankets are quite big and you are working on them for quite a while. I mainly work on blankets in the morning, every morning 30 minutes. So that means that I am I was working on this one for a few months. So it was my morning routine, part of my morning routine for a few months, and finishing it's also finishing a specific time, and yeah, it's always special. But let me show it to you because I'm so happy with it. It is lovely. I love the colors, I love the stitch pattern, and yeah, I can't wait to use this blanket. I think it will be perfect as a throw over your shoulders blanket while camping or whatever. And yeah, I had so much fun making it. But as I said, it will get its own episode because it deserves it. But I just wanted to show you. Okay, let's check some of my works in progress, and I will start with a crochet one because I'm not crocheting a lot these days. I'm mainly knitting, but I am really having fun with this one. Let me check. Yeah, this is the right side. This will be my crochet pillowcase. I'm making another cover for my big pillow, which is always in my bag of this chair. It's out of my reach, but it's a very bright granny square pillow, and I don't really love the look of it. So I want to turn it into boring brown. Yeah, and I love it. I have made this one before as a pillowcase. I'm sitting on it for years right now, so it is a little bit damaged, but I really love the look of that. It's actually a blanket pattern. It's the Crochet Along 2015, organized by and designed by 2 Dutch ladies, and it's original a blanket with another color every other round. No, not every other, another color every round. And I love it to be in a one color, and I will fold it down this way when it's finished. So yeah, I love the look, but I'm not there yet, so I need to crochet, and it asks a little bit of my attention. It's not really hard to crochet. There are some challenging stitches, some new to me stitches, which I really need to pay attention, but there's also a lot of just plain crocheting, but you need to get the right stitch count, and that's the challenging part. So I am working on it on quiet moments, and it didn't grow for quite some weeks. I didn't touch it for quite some weeks, and last week I decided to spend 30 minutes every day on this one. So it will grow slowly and it will be finished one day, and I really love it. The pattern was available in English too, but I noticed there were some problems with the English version. I will link down the Dutch version so you know where I get it from, and you can always contact the ladies if they want to. I have no idea if they are still active, but if you want, there has been an English version, but I don't know if it's downloadable still, but you can always ask. Okay, oh, then this one, this is also fun. I don't think I showed it before in the podcast. This is a new cast. No, it's not a new cast on. I casted it on quite some weeks ago. This is, let me check because I don't know how to pronounce. This is a design from Noma Ndlovu. And I'm sorry, I'm messing up the pronunciation. It's horrible, but I can't do better. And this is the Nyezi pullover. And it's quite funny how it came to me, because in winter I didn't use Instagram, and my only way of checking what was living into the knitting and crochet world was checking Ravelry every now and then. And I really love doing that. But when I check Ravelry, I quite often check the top 20 page. And then you get the patterns in the range of popularity, and I love watching that. But I also had the feeling I'm only watching the most popular patterns, but I want to decide myself which I want to make. So I want to filter all the patterns. So I discovered that I could also filter click on most recently add. So I did do that, and then you get a lot of patterns. And you can do your own filter, and that was how I discovered the Nyezi pullover. So it's quite a new pattern, and the reason I did buy it and did cast it on was because I found in November, it was only a few days before the Knit to Pullover festival, I was in the store and I found there was a sweater. It was very bright pink, hanging with a very nice stitch pattern, which was almost the same as this one, and I took a picture because I loved it. And then I discovered this pattern, and it reminded me of that sweater, so I thought, let's make it. And it's a stash buster. I use yarn from Stash. This is lamb's wool from Long Yarns. It was gifted to me by Long Yarns. I have 10 balls, and it was gifted to me last year, I guess. And I was not sure if I wanted to make something with it. I have some good experiences with Long Yarns yarn, but also some not so good. And I was very curious. This yarn feels great. It's so soft, and it's lovely. It's very nice to knit with, but I'm a bit afraid if the sweater will grow a lot, or if it will stay good after washing and blocking and wearing. I have no idea. So I asked myself before I started, will I be okay with spending my time when I'm not sure if it will be holding up well? And I was okay with it. I just wanted to keep my hands busy and yeah, just knit away some stash. And it was not even, I don't know for who this sweater will be. Maybe for me. It's not looking very big. I just picked the size, the biggest size I could make with 10 balls, and that is size 3, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm saying it by head. But it's feeling as if it can grow a lot after blocking. So maybe I have another family member who will be happy with this sweater. Maybe it will be looking good on me. I have no idea. It's just a fun process knit. Working on it. The stitch pattern is really, really memorizable, really relaxed. I love the look of it. I had some problems with the shoulders. Some things were not really clear to me, but I must confess I don't know if it was caused by myself or by the pattern. I didn't go back and check because I thought, oh, I can make something out of it myself. And yeah, I think I think it was my own fault that I made a mistake somewhere, but normally I would go back, but it was not so important because I thought, okay, I can fix it myself. So I think it was on me and not in the pattern, but I'm not sure. The pattern is very easy peasy, well described, really lovely. And I'm knitting the neckline right now. I did knit all my yarn ball away after joining it in the round, and now I will finish the neckline. It will be a folded one, and the sleeves, and then I will finish the body, so I can knit until I have the right length or until I run out of yarn. And yeah, I'm really having fun. It's the perfect knit for evenings when you are watching something on television. It's not complicated, but it's also not boring because something's happening all the time and you have to pay a little bit of attention. Yeah, so it's really lovely and the yarn feels really lovely, and I am really curious how it will hold up. But lovely project. Last but not least, it is finally happening. My rabbits are growing, and it's quite funny that it's happening the week before Easter, as if it's meant to be. It was really it took some time before my rabbit knitting motivation came back, and apparently now is the time for it. So I'm really having fun again, although there were some interruptions. I am not a stuffy maker. I don't love knitting stuffies. I don't love crocheting stuffies, and I can't do it. I'm not a talented stuffy maker. Especially the faces are a challenge for me. Putting the eyes on the right place, the nose, the mouth, they always looked ugly and I didn't like doing it. So at one point I stopped making stuffies. It's just not my thing. Other people can make the most beautiful things. I'm not one of them, and I was okay with that. But last year, my little niece had a desire for a blue rabbit knitted by me. So I ignored my negative thoughts and experiences around making stuffies, and I just made her a blue rabbit. And I used a pattern by Little Cotton Rabbits, and I had so much fun. It was so surprising, but I was playing. It was as if I touched my own inner little Sarah, and I just had so much fun, and I completely fell in love with the blue rabbit. So after giving it to my little niece, I decided I wanted to knit my own children a rabbit. And my children are teenagers. They loved it, but they didn't have the same desire as my little niece. But I wanted to knit them a rabbit with all the outfits, and yeah, I just wanted to do that. So I started immediately, but at some point my rabbit knitting completely dropped and I didn't work on it, and it was one of the projects open on my Ravelry list. I still wanted to finish them, but I didn't feel the motivation to pick up the rabbits again, and now it's there. So I am deep diving into the rabbit hole of rabbit knitting again. And I must say there were some troubles because I did knit quite some pieces, and I wanted to finish the pieces first before I started stuffing. So I finished the heads and the ears, 3 pair, and my children chose their own color, and I didn't really like that my girls both chose the lighter color, the same color. My son, he said, I don't really care, he said. Something brown is okay. So I just knitted this one, these 3 heads, and when I was stuffing them, I noticed that the 2 lighter ones were much bigger than the brown one. So yeah, I don't know if because they are adorable, aren't they? But do you see the difference? It's quite a big difference. And it didn't make sense because my girls are younger and smaller than my son. So it didn't feel right that his rabbit was smaller than the 2 girly ones. And I didn't understand why they were bigger. The only reason I can think of is that I accidentally knitted them on 2.5 dpns instead of 2 mm. In my knitting book I did write down 2mm DPNs, but I also have the 2.5, and the gauge is a little bit looser, and they are still lovely and adorable, but the size didn't make sense. So I decided to make new ones, and I also told one of my girls, I make you another color, and she said, okay, I'm okay with it, as long as I can have a pink dress. So now I have these 3 little tiny rabbits. I love them. I love them. Those have the same size. I really love them. They look adorable, and I only have the heads. And yeah, I am really happy that they are all having their own color right now, and the size is good. I only have those 2. Maybe I need to make myself and my husband 2 as a mom and a dad. But I don't like that we are the same color. We shall see. I don't know if I can find the motivation to finish you 2. Oh, I'm so sorry. They are looking as if they are expecting me to knit their bodies and also nice outfits. They are looking so adorable. We shall see. So now I'm working on the bodies. I finished 2 bodies and I'm knitting the 3rd. And I don't really love working on them because I'm knitting on quite a tight gauge with Ndlovu. Ndlovu is a worsted weight yarn, and I'm working on 2mm DPNs, and you can see what will happen with your 2mm DPNs when you work on a tight gauge Ndlovu. They are all wonky. It's okay. It's not that my hands are hurting, but it's just not, the stitches are not flowing. But I will finish the bodies. Then I need to knit 6 pairs of legs, 6 pairs of arms, and attach all the things, and then I can start knitting the garments. And I think I will love that part the most, but I really want to wait with that until I finished the whole rabbit bodies, because yeah, it's a bit a stick behind the door, a motivational thing to look forward to. But I really love those tiny rabbits, and I can't wait to have them finished and sit on the couch and looking adorable. And I can make them new garments every season, and yeah, it will be lovely. So rabbit knitting is happening, and I hope next week it will be Easter, and I hope I can have a rabbit episode with 3 finished rabbits, including outfits. That will be quite a challenge, but we can try. Yeah. Okay, this was it for today. I have more works in progress on my needles, and if you are interested in them, you can check my Ravelry page to see all the projects I'm working on, and also my older projects. If you are interested in more details, you can probably find them there. I try to keep up my Ravelry page as updated as possible, so there's a lot of information of all the projects of a few years, so yeah, you can find it all there. Yeah, I wish you a very good week. Have a nice Easter next weekend. I hope you have some heart-jumping moments, some lovely crochet or knitting projects on your needles which you can enjoy. And I will thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!